John Ryder, nice to meet you. Finally, you seem like one of these good guys in boxing that I would have liked to have met by now, but I haven't, so nice to meet you.
No, put it there, yeah.
Little thumbnail there as well, yeah. How's it going?
Yeah, good. I mean, it's good to finally bridge the gap between Queensberry and Matchroom and get a fight over the line, and looking forward to it.
It's a big one. Like you're looking there. You've boxed here a few times. You've had wins. You've had losses here as well.
Yeah.
What's your sort of when you look around there? What's the feeling that you get?
Well, I've got good memories. I've seen Disney on ice. I've seen Drake down there scooting around. So yeah, great memories. I've seen some fantastic fights and yeah, highs and lows. But got to make November 26th a big high.
Disney on ice. Did you go on your own or?
I did have my daughter. Yeah.
So tell me, I think it's coming up to like 12 years now that you've been in the game. You made your debut 2010? 2010,
yeah.
And you come through in like an era of George Groves, James DeGale, all those guys. Like, can you believe it's been that long?
I can, because you see the evolution of social media and whatnot, and how you don't even have fight posters anymore. It's just a picture on a Twitter account or on Instagram, so there's no running around sticking up posters in your local shop or local pub. It's, the job's been made a lot easier now as such.
Your debut, York Hall, same show as Tyson Fury?
Tyson Fury, yeah,
right.
John O'Donnell. Yeah, I mean, me and Tyson go way back.
What's your memories of that night and that presumably like a curly-haired young Tyson Fury knocking about York Hall?
Well, I just remember first and foremost getting my win. I think it was a minute 30. Trained after that fight as well. Been doing 12 rounds with John O'Donnell, who was fighting Terence Coulthard, who was a former Olympian in the States.
Top of the bill, wasn't it?
That was top of the bill, yeah. But then you see the man mountain walk to the ring, Tyson Fury, with his long curly locks, and put on a show, yeah.
You sparred him recently as well, didn't you? All within the last couple of years.
Yeah, Dallas, I think it was 2021 was it, when we was there to watch Canelo and Billy Joe. Great to move around with him, and just great to see the man up close and see what skills he's got.
How does that happen? Because even like Raven Chapman, Queensberry's one female fighter who's like a featherweight, she sparred Tyson Fury at some point as well. How does it happen that everyone just ends up sparring him?
Listen, he's a gentleman. He can knock out Deontay Wilder, but he can spar with super featherweights. Listen, it's all about helping each other, and he's a great man.
Tell me about your career then. Like, when you started out all those years ago, did you think you'd come this far? Did you think you'd go further? Like, what did you think back then? I
thought I'd have a bigger house and a few more cars and a lot more money, maybe some nicer watches, but it's not what it's all about, is it? No, listen, we all dreamt. I come through in the era of Floyd Mayweather when it was good to be undefeated and whatnot, and that seemed like the be-all and end-all of everything. But I think I've learned along the way that as long as you're in the best fights possible, it doesn't matter if you win, lose or draw. Obviously it's imperative to win, it's great to win, but if you can leave this career behind in years to come and know that you put your best foot forward occasion after occasion, learn from your losses and implemented the lessons in your career moving forward and making yourself a better fighter, then so be it.
It feels like you want to be remembered as one of those guys that did just box everyone, win or lose. You always gave it your all in these fights. You didn't duck anyone.
Yeah, of course. I mean, early on I fought Billy Joe Saunders, who was a former Olympian, quality fighter, and look, he's gone on to win a world title and mix it with the best. So there's no real bad thing to losing to these kind of people. They're well-schooled amateurs. I had 35 amateur fights, so didn't have the pedigree that they did, but to mix it with them and to push them close and potentially win the fight is a good feat.
That was 2013. That was your last time on a Frank Warren Queensberry show, and now you're coming back, and it's Zach Parker this time. What are your memories of the Billy Joe Saunders fight?
His fans are applauding him. That is a really brave effort from Ryder, who thinks he's won it. He certainly won the last round, and he won it big. Saunders celebrates, Ryder celebrates. There'll be a tight one.
We have a unanimous decision. Phil Edwards, 115-114. Howard Foster, 115-113. Dave Paris, 115-113. The winner. And still, the British and Commonwealth Middleweight champion. In the blue corner, from Hatfield.
The John Ryder corner don't like it. The celebrations of the Billy Joe Saunders.
And did you feel you did enough that night?
Yeah, I felt I did enough. One of those things, it was a great show. Derek Chisora was on the show, Bradley Skeet, Frankie Gavin, I think. So it was a great card to be on.
It feels like since then, like you've, as a man, you've changed. You've got a family, you've got kids now as well. Like, what is this version of the gorilla like with that family behind you? Are you a bit tamer now than you used to be?
I don't know. I think sometimes they really know how to push my buttons, and I have to take it out at the gym sometimes. So can't take it out on them. But no, I think I'm in the best place mentally and physically. I've experienced a lot, and like I say, it's all about implementing it moving forward and using them experiences.
Your kids, Heidi and Brody, is
That's
that right?
it, yeah.
Got that right?
Yeah.
Do you let them watch?
My little girl watches the day after. Listen, it's always on pretty late, so they can't watch live. But yeah, she loves YouTube. She's a massive fan of looking at the latest videos on YouTube and whatnot. So she's always keeping up to date.
You've got them. Like, do you get sort of motivation from them? Are you sort of doing it for them? Have they given you an extra reason why?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's all about giving them the better life, and I don't want to live in London forever. I want to be able to move out to the sticks and give them a nice house with a garden and the best education they could possibly get. So that's the added pressure I put on myself.
I was speaking to Mark Heffron before he won his British title, and he said that he made his daughter Poppy a promise: Daddy's going to bring the belt back. Do you do similar sort of things? Do you put that pressure on yourself of like, well, I've promised my boy and my girl now that I'm going to do it? Do you do that sort of thing?
I did promise to bring my little girl a new belt back after the Calvin Smith fight, and I kind of let her down on that one as such. But try and manage expectations a bit better now.
You should have had those belts though, shouldn't you?
Well, that's it. But not down to my fault. But I do just try and manage it a bit more for her now.
So have you told her that you're going to be bringing back a WBO interim super middleweight world title on November 26th?
She hasn't asked yet, but I'm sure she'll watch all the goings on in the next couple of weeks, and she'll be demanding something.
And how are you finding balancing everything in terms of all your training? You're going into championship fight after championship fight. You're a family man as well. And the reason I ask is I was listening to an interview you did with Tris Dixon.
Yep.
You know, your life story. So I've got all that sort of in the bank. And you said that when you was growing up, your dad was, he was a grafter and everything, but he said something to you which stuck, which was, there's not enough hours in the day.
Yeah.
So this John Ryder, are you finding enough hours in the day? How are you finding it all?
Just about. Like you say, it's days like today. You have these days in camp when it's like there generally isn't enough hours in the day, and you wanna commit to your craft and get the best sparring you can, and you want to come and do things like this and put yourself across well, but then you want to get home and just cuddle your kids and relax. So I'm trying to get that balance right, and we're forever learning with it.
You've got them on your shorts as well. You take a lot into the ring with you. I've seen you've got their names on your shorts. You've got DB as well. Do you want to tell me about DB? Yeah,
Daniel was a good friend growing up. Passed away when I was 16 in a motorbike accident. So I mean, he was just a cool cat. So I just wanted his name to live on. And there's been a few additions added lately. Richard Turner and Bookie. He was another friend of ours. Bookie passed away during COVID. He was 34 at the time.
With COVID?
Not with COVID. No, he had a condition with his heart. So I just want these people to live on. They would be my biggest supporters. I didn't see Bookie much, but I'd speak to people and they'd be saying, he's forever singing your praises. He drives us mad, harping on about how well you're doing and what you're doing. And Richard Turner, just another big supporter. He's been around boxing a long time himself, but sadly passed away. But when I spoke to him, I think 2 days before he passed away, and the thing he was buzzing about most was coming to my fight against Jacob. So it's great motivation.
How did he pass away?
He had, I think he had cancer. It was cancer that just attacked him in the end, and just got the better of him.
I mean, yeah, it's horrible. Is this your sort of way of saying, look, these people existed and they were around and they were important people in my life?
Yeah, and I just hope that to an extent they can live on through me and my successes, and they don't get forgotten. Not that they'd ever get forgotten. There's too many people that loved and cared for them for them to get forgotten. But I just want to know that they're by my side and push me on when it gets tough.
So as I say, you take a lot into the ring with you, so it's more than just, you know, DB and your children and that as well. It's a sort of a growing list. So Zach Parker's got to come through an awful lot to get through John Ryder November 26th.
Listen, I think what was it? Diamonds form under pressure, so let's put some more pressure on myself and just get there and do what needs to be done.
Talk to me about your middleweight days, because that, like, I saw you towards the end of it. It looked very hard.
Yeah, it just wasn't there to happen anymore. I'd get to 11:10 and then it would just be pure like dehydration. I can't sit in saunas, like being fully hydrated.
I'm the same.
I hate them. I think they're. Then you've got people like Tyson Fury that want to sit in them and challenge Klitschko. Like, he got out first, not me.
Yeah.
Not my cup of tea. But so just working hard to get weight off, skipping, running, and just not being there. Then making the move up to super middleweight was the best thing I'd ever done. The Nick Blackwell fight was the first, obviously, that I really struggled. I've been out in America 3 weeks before, come back, bit of jet lag and whatnot, just missing my runs and stuff, and just plays a part. And probably wasn't professional enough in myself to say to Tony that I need to train a bit later and juggle things around a bit, so I'm getting all the work in, and paid the price for it. And then had another crack, won another title at middleweight, and then fell ill to Jack Armfield again when it just got the better of me.
Was there a point where you just thought, oh, I don't care anymore, I'm going to jack it in, I'm going to do something else? Yeah,
no, I think in that Armfield fight, I was just thinking, please just put me out of my misery. And
you wanted him to knock you out?
I wanted him to knock me out, because there's no way I was going to quit. I wanted to be hit on the chin and put out my misery and just look for something else to do.
Why?
Just didn't have the fight in me anymore. It was just trained hard, trained like a beast. I always train hard. I'm always fit, but getting down to that weight just took something out of me, and it just wasn't there. 24 hours wasn't enough to replenish it and come again.
That's mad, like hearing that you just wanted him to fill you in, basically, just say it was done.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, people probably think you're a bit sadistic for saying it, but you got to a point it was just tough, and you're in a fight and you're struggling, nothing's working for you, nothing's coming off, and you're getting picked off, and then you just think to yourself, another 4 rounds of this, I'm not going to quit. So please put me out of misery.
How did you find the fire again?
I think the initial move up to 168, and I think I'd been away on a training camp to Portugal with the boys in January, and I was fighting Adam Etches on our TV show, so we're not scared to go on other shows.
Yeah, no, I see. We see it.
We see it. And I think it's just a blessing. I think the pressure was off. I think, like you say, with pressure, I put more pressure on myself to make the weight. And I think I just enjoyed camp a lot more, being at 168, knowing that I didn't have that extra bit of push to the thing. And I think 2 weeks before I was walking around at 2 pound over, and it was, I was thinking, oh, this is easy.
Just happier.
Just happy, well, yeah. And yeah. I think when it's playing, having an impact on your family and your kids and your partner,
was it?
I think yeah, it's got to have been. I mean, I can't have been my best and putting my best foot forward with them and just performing at my best. I think I was training to make weight purely, and then not even training to get fit.
What would you have done then if you had jacked it in, if you didn't rediscover that fire and moved up to super middle?
I don't know. I think I'm a grafter. I'd always work hard. I always want to be the best at what I'm doing. So I'm sure whatever I'd have done well at. But I'm glad I stayed in boxing, and I've had a good few nights since.
100%, and we're glad you did as well. And you went up to super middleweight. You had that fight with Callum Smith. How many times have you watched it back? Have you watched it back? Do you look back on that night thinking... Because I remember afterwards you were like, I should be sat here as the champion.
Yeah.
And you weren't.
Well, I like to say now, though, if I had been sat there champion, I'd probably be retired now, looking like Maidana with a big cigar in my mouth, probably on a beach somewhere.
He's living, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's living.
Absolutely living. So, yeah, I think everything happens for a reason. I'm a firm believer in that. Your failures, they do set you up properly, and you learn a lot from them. As long as you have a growth mindset to learn from failures, you can come again, and you will. And I think I've shown that and proved that there's life in the old dog yet, and I will come again.
Well, how long did it take you to get over it, or have you never really got over it? Is it always there? Or you tell me.
Well, it was a frustrating year, obviously, after that. Obviously, there was promises of, he'll have a big fight in May, March, whatever. Then COVID come about, so everything got delayed by a year. Ended up fighting in Miami on a Golovkin undercard, which was a box ticked and nice to get on a plane to America when everyone else was locked down in the UK. But not where I wanted to be heading. I wanted to be in the biggest fights, fighting for titles. Got a 10-round points win over Mike Guy. Then you're looking to kick on again, and then 2021 was another slow year. Ended up getting I think I got an 8-rounder out in Austria.
Yeah,
last
that was like the most random thing. I just remember seeing the poster pop up when I was in Austria.
We even went up to 12 stone 7 for it to potentially have a fight with Bivol.
Heavyweight, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
so we tested the water then. I got rid of him. Then the Bivol fight come about potentially, but it was in Russia. So Tony was like, "Nah, you're not going to Russia." And I was like, "Tone, Rocky IV's my favourite." But he told me, "Don't be so stupid." But then, yeah, obviously a slow couple of years, but started off 2022 with a Jacobs win and looking to finish it on a high.
Your bio on your Instagram says the People's Champion. Is that sort of like a nod to the Callum Smith fight?
Well, I think I've got Charlie Sims to thank for that, being in charge of
okay.
I do work on Instagram myself, but Charlie set it all up, all the bio and stuff. So yeah, I've got Charlie to thank for that.
So that's probably there since 2019, really. As soon as that
yeah.
felt like People's Champion. Right? So tell me, here we are today. You're fighting November 26th. We're about to have the launch press conference. This version of John Ryder that I'm speaking to. How are you? How are you in your life? Are you happy? We've talked about you nearly jacked it in. You lost the fight. You wanted Jack Arnfield to fill you in one night. What about today? How are you?
I'm happy and I'm content. I've got 2 beautiful children, beautiful partner, a great team around me, and Tony Sims, Dan Lawrence, Charlie Sims, Paddy the Baddie on the PR.
And I can confirm that is the actual Paddy the Baddie right here.
Paddy the Baddie Mark II. I think I'm surrounded by great people. Like I say, I'm of a growth mindset. Try and learn every day classes in session, whether it be in the gym, in the weights room with Dan Lawrence. We're forever learning.
Tell me about your relationship with Tony Sims. You always big him up on social media, as you should, but it feels like he's been more than just like a trainer, manager. It feels like he's taken on a whole different role in your life.
Yeah, I like to say he's like he's obviously a father figure, but you can talk to him like he's your best friend, and he'll give you shit like he's your big brother. But he's got it all, and the man himself is an inspiration. Do you know what I mean? You look at him, he's fit, he's healthy, he's active, but then on a personal level, I see how committed he is to his family, his wife, and what they mean to him. So I'm forever taking inspiration from him. He's a great man.
Those moments, the Jack Arnfield fight where you said, you thought about just jacking it all in. How much of a rock was he in keeping you in boxing?
Well, Tony believed in me when I didn't believe in myself, so that was the most important thing. So I think anything from now is about paying him back for the belief he put in me and just showing him that it wasn't a waste of time.
And it's a rough time for the gym right now. Obviously there's the obvious stuff, we don't need to go into it, but there's also Joe Cordina got stripped of his title somewhat harshly as well. It feels like the gym's on a bit of a downer. It's on you now to sort of lift it again. Are you feeling that? Are you feeling like you want to do that? You want to repay sort of Tony Sims?
Yeah, just another bit more pressure.
Yeah.
Listen, like I say, it was a shame for Joe Cordina. We was all there in Cardiff in April, willing him on to win.
Stunning
and unbelievable finish. And listen, no one deserves it more than Joe. He's done things the right way. He's come up. He's won the British Commonwealth. He's been an Olympian. So, listen, it wasn't a surprise to us that he'd win a world title, but to have it taken away after a legitimate injury was a shame. But I'm sure he'll get it back.
What about this whole Canelo fight? It's a name that your name has been linked with Canelo in terms of if Canelo does this world tour and he wants to come to the UK, how about a bit of John Ryder? If you win this title, you become his mandatory, and then he'll have a decision to make. How do you see this whole scenario playing out?
Well, I pretty much spent 2 years during lockdown chasing Canelo around the world, being on standby for if an opponent got COVID. And listen, I'm not going to do that anymore. You miss up on opportunities yourself. So listen, if it falls into place, I know he's out injured now. I think he's going to have surgery. So I've just got to focus on what's in hand, and November 26th. That's the most important thing now. And then when we get the win, then we'll evaluate things after. But we can't wait around for him. He could be out till September next year. There's other big fights out there, the likes of Benavidez and Plant. I know they're going to fight each other, so it's a good time for British, for world boxing and even British.
We'll come back to Zach Parker very shortly. On Canelo, are you seeing signs of decline? Are you seeing something where he's not the monster that he once was? I'm asking you, what do you think?
It's hard to say. I mean, Bivol was a freak of nature and boxed a perfect game plan. He, I don't think anyone thought he would do that, but he did. And then, obviously, the Golovkin fight was not vintage Canelo, but it certainly wasn't vintage Golovkin either, was it? But then you talk about the injury. So you don't know what injury he's taken into the fight and what price that's paid. But hope in time that he can come back and he can show that he's still got it.
So Zach Parker then. So what made you say yes to this fight?
I think we was both toying with other options. He was obviously chasing the Andrade fight, and wasn't chasing it. There was mandatory for it, was he?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, it was meant to happen. It was meant to happen at Pride Park.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure it would have been a great occasion. I was pursuing a fight with Jaime Munguia and was looking like it was going to be October 29th. And then just everything went quiet. So, I mean, this come about, and I think it makes perfect sense.
Does it feel like the most important fight of your career?
Yeah, of course. I mean, one fight at a time. Do you know what I mean? I've been in there with great opposition in the past, but Zach's the young, hungry lion that's in front of me now. So I've got to give him full respect and go into this fight with the mindset that he's dangerous, but I can do this.
He thinks you're too small for super middleweight. That's what he told me the other week. What do you reckon?
Well, we'll see on fight night, won't we? We'll see how small I am, and I'm small but mighty.
You are boxing in London against someone from Derby, but you are the away fighter. Explain that.
Listen, I was boxing someone from America in Alexandra Palace, and I was the away fighter. So it's it goes both ways. But I'm happy to be the underdog. I like the underdog mentality, and I think that's when you see the best of me.
Do you rate him?
Yeah, he's not put a foot wrong yet, is he? He's obviously not mixed with the calibre of opposition I have, but he needs his career-defining night and he needs his step up, and for him this is his golden ticket really.
What are you expecting from him?
I'm expecting him to come full steam ahead, try and make a statement, but down to me to show the years of knowledge and experience I've gained, and show him that it's not a walk in the park.
Do you think that's the difference in this fight, the fact that the calibre of opposition that you've been in with compared to him?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, he says I'm too small, but of late his fighters have been middleweights coming up, so we look forward to it. We look forward to November 26th and seeing who comes out on top.
You've had close fights. Callum Smith, of course, Danny Jacobs, where you got the decision. Billy Joe Saunders on a Frank show all those years ago. Do you feel as though you need to knock him out?
Like you say, it's more pressure to put on yourself, but I'm one of those. If a knockout comes, then it comes. I mean, I've tried to chase knockouts before in my career and been found wanting. I've still got the points decisions, but I think you're best to go in there with the mindset of a good game plan, put that into play, and come out on top.
Have you visualised it? This is my final question. How do you visualise yourself winning this fight?
I haven't really yet. Now I want to come face to face with Zach first. I've never seen him in person, so get a feel of him, size him up a bit, and we'll start the visualisations then.
Why should the fans buy their tickets for this big show at the O2? Come on, tell us. What are they going to see?
I think you're going to see a great night. You've obviously got a great undercard, the likes of Dennis McCann, Hamza Shiraz, great up-and-comers, and then you're going to see me.
And you believe you'll be walking away with the WBO interim
I'll have a nice new WBO interim title around my waist or my shoulder, coming away victorious, looking for a nice Christmas and on to bigger and better things for 2023.
You say that, bigger and better things. Do you think he's like a stepping stone? Is that how you're treating him?
No, I'm giving him full respect. I think he deserves that. I probably over-respect my opponents because, listen, you can watch all the tape you want and think, well, he's jabbed slow, his backhand's telegraphed, but you get in there and the first thing they do is ping you with a jab and you think, well, it ain't that slow, is it? Didn't see that coming. So I maybe overestimate my opponents at times and give them too much credit, so there's no chance I'm overlooking him.
Perfect. Well, look, it's been lovely meeting you. let's go and have a good press conference. Are you going to like throw tables and stuff? Or?
I don't know if I've got any. They look like heavy tables, them.
They do look like heavy tables. But lovely to meet you, and yeah, go well.
And you, thank you.